Like, I have borderline personality disorder, and that's great, but like, I feel like I've spent just so much time discussing like how it sucks or how it affects me or the stigma or whatever, and people are mean about it, blah blah blah. But I've never really taken the time to say, okay, this is what it is. I have to live with it. I just have to accept the reality, and what are the steps that I can take so that every day is better, and how can I just improve upon every minute, really, and really just savor every single day that I have so that I'm not spending the next 30, 40, 50 years sick with cognitive distortions that do nothing to serve me. So, doing a lot of learning. I think one, I have to work on my DBT skills more, and one of the skills I really, really like using, though it is probably one of the hardest ones, it's my favorite, is opposite action. Okay, the most effective case where opposite action has worked quite well for me is when I'm with like a guy and another girl, and I get like feelings of jealousy, or I lack confidence, or my self-esteem drops. And in that case, the opposite action, instead of judging her or thinking about how I'm better or needing to put her down to feel better, I do completely opposite of that. And I'm just super, super nice. Probably almost too nice. By acting really nice, kind, offering her things, asking her questions, pretending to be curious, it kind of almost starts to feel real, and I start to feel comfortable with it, and it becomes easier to do. So that's one. Opposite action has really, really helped with me, because I find confidence is very, very key in just having compassion. You can be confident in yourself but not cocky, then that kind of opens up the doorway for empathy and compassion. Compassion just kind of like flood through, and then you can see everyone as an equal rather than as a competitor. Another thing that works quite well is kind of taking everything 10 seconds at a time. And this is something that I learned from watching The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, which is a show, if you haven't seen it, on Netflix, about this woman, Kimmy, who was kidnapped at 15 and forced to live in an underground bunker with like this crazy reverend for 15 years with 3 other women. And she escapes from the bunker, and then she's a very nice woman, and she's very kind, and she succeeds after, what had happened to her, but every so often rage and anger and this hatred towards men comes out, and she doesn't know where it's coming from. And some advice that she gives to other people that she learned in the bunker, having to deal with what she had to deal with, is to take everything 10 seconds at a time. And because I have such a hard time accepting my reality for what it is. The fact that, yeah, I have a minimum wage job, I might not like where I'm living, I might not like what I'm like doing as a career, I might not like what I've done to other people, how I've treated people in the past, might not like how I act now, but every single second is an opportunity for growth and to do the right thing. If you didn't do the right thing 10 seconds ago, try the next 10 seconds and see where you're at. And then take life after that 10 seconds by the next 10 seconds and see where you're at. I was finding that looking too forward into the future, even by 5 minutes, made me filled with worry and nerves. 10 seconds at a time is another one. Opposite action, 10 seconds at a time. The third skill that I find super, super useful when combating borderline tendencies is half smiling. Half smiling. I used to think that's silly. If I'm upset, why would I put on a smile? I don't want to be fake. I was very scared of seeming like a hypocrite. But half smiling, forcing yourself to smile, and then feeling that on your face, it kind of really does send some kind of signal. Something happens where your brain is like, okay, I'm cool with this. I can rest easy now. I can relax. Everything is okay. You're kind of like tricking yourself to not sense fear and to not be scared of the things that are around you. Opposite actions, 10 seconds at a time, half smiling really, really works. And I find that my moods swing every 15 minutes, half an hour to 2 hours. So I'm really having to utilize these skills every single second of the day. It does get exhausting. What I've learned after dealing with this for 10 plus years, 15 years, is that it's more exhausting to resist, and it's comfortable to live in it's familiar to live in a state of paranoia and fear and nervousness, because that's where you've been living for so long and that's where you've learned to live your life. But that's not really what living is. So what I found when having used these skills is a great deal of resistance, because it's like the way I have lived my life, what I thought was right, the way I have done things for so long, is completely the opposite of what I should have been doing. And that really messes with me. And for the longest time, I was like, you know what? No, I don't want to have to. I was in denial. Like, I didn't want to have to give up my old ways of doing things, because that meant I was doing it wrong for so long and I wasted so much time. Wasting more time resisting isn't really going to serve me, right? So in the long run, it's best to just utilize the skills, get it out of the system. And that's kind of where I'm at currently. Dealt with a lot of resistance. So if that's something that you have felt and you don't really know where to begin, which steps to take, because it's just kind of like you're already overwhelmed, you already don't know where to start. I've been there. So I would just recommend starting with these 3 skills and then researching them and then learning how to use them, and then researching other skills and then applying how you learned the first 3 to others that you learn, and then going from there. So with opposite actions, that's just basically if you are upset, if you feel like harming yourself, then you do something that is completely opposite of that, which would be a self-soothing action. The opposite of self-harming is self-soothing. So you would pick something that you enjoy, which self-soothes, which is the opposite of harming. I remember asking my therapist that how you're able to kind of hit the switch when you're in that state, because if you're already in the state of wanting to do something drastic, how are you going to want to do an opposite action? You're not going to want to use the skill. I've been there. So she said, you have to recognize and learn the signs physically and mentally of when you're about to enter that state. So another thing to work on that I find very, very helpful, because I could never really think clearly when I go straight into that arena of negativity, is to kind of watch yourself the next few times that it happens before you disassociate, before you enter a state of panic or a state of rage, which is most common for me, to take note mentally and even write it down physically what happens to your body and emotionally what happens to your body. So I clam up, I get tense, I stop thinking, I get intrusive thoughts, my mouth gets really, really dry, I can't see straight, I get overwhelmed, lights get bright, and I recognize that about myself now. So I know then to kick in opposite action then before it gets worse. So that's kind of how you combat that. With taking everything 10 seconds at a time, I just found I usually apply this skill when I'm really sad or when I'm really bored and I don't really know what to do, and I'm just kind of really unhappy with where I am with my life at the time. I'm watching too much Netflix. I don't know what to do, and then I get intrusive thoughts and I get super sad. And then I think to myself, let's just take it 10 seconds at a time, and in 10 seconds, let's see where I'm at. And then I also utilize breathing techniques sometimes with it if I feel too overwhelmed. So taking 10 seconds at a time when you're having a hard time facing your reality, I find is the best time to use that skill. And you just can't accept your current reality. Take it 10 seconds at a time, because it'll change. Everything changes, everything ends. Everything is over eventually. And the third one, half smiling, I use this one at work also. But more so when I'm forced to have discussions with other people or talk to my boss or talk to my coworkers. That's when I use half smiling. I don't use it all the time because if you're just smiling to yourself, like, it's creepy. I use it over the phone. I half smile just to make my voice sound happier because tone is something that I have to deal with. Also use half smiling again when I have intrusive thoughts and I'm just having a hard time staying happy and I want to trick myself, kind of give myself a little like 5-hour energy but with happiness. A half smile usually works really well with that. And then combining all of these with breathing techniques, I find that just doing like 5 in, 5 out for 5 times usually just like sets things straight without getting me too lightheaded. Yeah, so that's essentially how I deal with borderline personality disorder. Currently, I'm able to hold a job. I have friends and a support system. But you know, we all have our off days, and I'm definitely not where I want to be. I'm definitely in the middle. It used to be a lot worse, and it's definitely not where I want to be, but I'm at a point where I'm able to understand and see the road I need to take, and I feel like I have skills and advice that I can give to others now. I hope that this helps. Also, I'm kind of quiet because I'm really paranoid people can hear me. So yeah, I'm clearly not 100% recovered, but you know, everything takes time.